You have no idea what was going through their lives. And I beg you, please, be considerate to others. Right, very, very I've spoken to you about today is my personal experience. So I have to back. I wish I could have back so much. Yes, I think my co-host Nancy. Finance and expert development is the answer. More than just a real estate company. We are dedicated to exceeding our current exceptional services. Our properties are strategically positioned maximum security with our top quality topography and real estate products tailored just specifically to the needs of our clients, family and gardens, technically supported. And an accredited management organization certified by the Dutch and Real Estate Regulatory Authority and with our commitment to innovation and sustainable development, and gardens for affordable and reliable properties. So why and let's turn the real estate dreams into reality. Thank you so very much. As you heard from the screens, if you're looking for great ROI, where to lead, we have an answer for you. And trust me when I say we don't pay. We are all about what we say. As soon as you make your payments, just give you an insight of what's also going to happen today. We have 40 people that will be allocated to the CDC, and we're going to put that we want to invite the conversation to now to give us the full real message. And I guarantee you that after that is done, we're going straight into the panel session. It's your good message.
It is really to apply. So most of anyone it will be managing you and doing Allah and being value. You will spend around that in public things that is very much no what is created in the way is the real place is united. We need to do this every day. We don't get out of providing, making housing available, sustainable, and affordable. Most importantly, the experience and needs. We know to do something, the housing, the elderly, the children, and the second, and then the necessary. And mankind, we all so many when you find yourself, the difference. The first thing you got was to feed yourself. You need for food. The second, you need for investment sign. Is to live for shelter. Shelter. Everything in the beginning, in the mountain, is everything. When you are having to live, it's by far. If high technology, technology, in housing, to connect and understand each other, understand. So this occasion is important. All of us are here. We want to pass on to others. Because I think it's not objective. It's a good coalition, sustainable, and it's always well, number of activities. But in the quality, thinking, we will be in our place, we believe, effort, we will make this objective. It's what you can do. Because we can do the participation in ways. We pray community now. We do many. But it's still significant. And for all this important time to be about, we should guidance in this party of the state education, representation here, and also whatever contributions we will make to ensure that we will give more water to the advancement and achievement of these developments. Yes, the one person have the issue. Who has some good intention. Thank you, and God bless you.
Next speech
excellent afternoon, distinguished guests, esteemed panelists, and fellow participants. I welcome to the PhD Summit 2024. It's an honor to have you all here in Ghana to address one of the most pressing issues of our time: sustainable, affordable housing for all Nigerians. As you all know, housing stands as a fundamental human right. Face various forms of housing inadequacy, to explore strategies, commitment, and innovations that can drive us towards a future where every Nigerian is safe and affordable housing. We are very distinguished speakers and experts. You and topic time. So, but before that, I believe we have some announcements for dignitaries to
recognize. Thank you very much, Darling Sister. Permit me to welcome one more time the Executive National President of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, Alhaji Dr. Musa Mohammed Mehtakobi. Today will be unveiling 25 hectares of land within the 164 hectares Lagos Commission Town. It's said to have 7,000 families and businesses as stakeholders located with substance of the renewed hope initiative by President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and championed by Honorable Minister of Housing, Acted Ahmed Damdiwa. The EA are partnering with Harmony Estates, and together we aim to create a platform for providing adequate and affordable urban luxury homes. This initiative will allow our members to own homes within the takeaway cottages through an installment payment plan. I ask the PhD Alhaji Dr. Musa Mehtakobi a round of applause for this initiative. Off-road, off-road. I'd also like to welcome the distinguished Nigerian also here is somebody we call the custodian of our culture and tradition through music. Gudu Gudu Akikoju Alakokudu of Toledo Adigo. I'd also like to welcome the General, not just of Lagos, not just of the West, not the East, not the South, but the entire Federal Republic of Nigeria. Chief Mrs. So this estate I'm talking about will be shown on the screen.
Or you know further business. How many gardens and active developments is the answer. And how many gardens? We are more than just a real estate company. We are dedicated to exceeding our current dedication, excellence, and exceptional services. Our policy has strategically positioned to give our and real estate projects tailored just specifically fit the needs of our clients, family, and gardens. Definitely is about making it for certified by the DOM and Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority and with our commitment to innovation and sustainable development, we can trust county projects for affordable and reliable properties. So by this, join Happy Birthday Salary today and let's start to real estate.
Only the house and that comes with one unique benefit. So, you also know that never another thing that you are looking for a house. But with this, can rest assured and power drive and so many other facilities that you can just let's get the round of applause. So let's dive into our first session with rating and anticipation. Now we move on to our first panel discussion titled Bridging Housing Deficit in Nigeria. This session of the housing deficit, economic and political implications, and to guide us moderator who is well versed in housing and urban development issues. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kubek. A media consultant, a former special advisor on media and publicity to former president of Nigeria. Please let's give him a round of applause. Hello, please give him a round of applause.
Your Excellencies, my love, ladies and gentlemen, forget man who are for way of solutions and then building inclusive cities and communities around the great. I have the panelists, my honor and pleasure to invite them. This is the Ishala and Amy, the CEO of the This is the academic place. This is the Ishala. Okay, thank you. Superman's. It's a name Superman's. Superman's here. Mr. David Mr. David is the MD of Gideon and Acadon Global Construct Limited. Mr. David Doherty. Also, I want to please Dr. Tony Olawale, Dr. Olawale, Chairman of the University of Lagos. Okay, I also like to invite very quickly Mr. Shamsudi and then to join us is Aaron Dotun Hassan, Aaron Dotun Hassan. Is Mr. David here? great panelists. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just waiting for this here and start the final discussion. The salvation that when was given involved in the housing sector, the stereo, and also on agree. I'm talking about technology, give the example of how the building was completed, the matter of weeks, talking about skills, training, we talked about finance, we made reference. Then I want to congratulate the organizers, not just that it is common, it is a very important and addressing housing. We said it was a stop plan. The home of my own, and I was mindful of the house of his own. Mercy Mandela. The Lord has achieved was telling us that he became a man when he came to his house. Everyone talks about the other things. Number one, talk about housing, drive economic growth, and to provide opportunities for people. But in Nigeria, I get a house, by personal construction. If they are in the minimum wage, many Nigerians find it very, and there are many issues there. Our population is an issue. Rural demand population is an issue. The regulatory framework is an issue. So that in 2007, the deficit in Nigeria was about 70 million. What we have been hearing, that's a lot. If a man becomes a man, then of course, we should encourage him to have a house. Now, without much ado, I will take my seat and then I will start inviting the panelists one after the other. And please, I'd like to panelists. Now, make it brief. Just go straight to the point. Well, we will start. Okay, I would like to start with this is the initial and this is my announcement for you. One of the we need for them is really to bring everything behind it. Now, Mr. Daniel, I'm going to raise the question. The bigger things for constituents to their own life. How do we apply in construction, particularly as the inputs are very expensive, cement is very expensive, the cost of that has not been to make the process happen. Let's microphone.
Cost me and put a price tag on naira, which is not right. Why can't we have a product as well that costs 1,000 naira and put a price tag of 2,000 naira to sell it? Nigerian price needs a proper regulation that is working and more efficient.
Then the budget is that inflation is 33.95%. And that, you have no control over inflation. Inflation price.
That's what I said. The first thing is to make a policy that they will put in place, even when there's, a thing of when there's inflation taking place, there should be a policy to guide that, to regulate that. So even when the price is going up and there's inflation everywhere, the price control board, which we have to regulate to some extent, that it won't go too much higher and affect the community.
Okay. Let me go to Mr. Lance. Mr. Lance, Nigerians are always talking about foreign investment. So what do we need to do in Nigeria to make the housing sector attractive for foreign direct investment? Um, Lagos, many Nigerian friends I've worked with in London that I've known for over 30 years. One of the good things that the UK has when it comes generally, the English countries is home gossip. And from a very early age, we're all on that. Was the keynote speaker. Dr. Tony Falabo.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Lambert. And Dr. Rube, thank you, Amanda, at this great summit today. So I believe what should be done should be that we got my friend that she has addressed locally. Government were encouraged that these materials are being gotten locally. Example, some of the buildings that we're building now, prior to this time, normally import, but recently we started getting them. So one thing I asked most of these manufacturers that are producing this is that the price that we are getting it are producing for us, getting out of the price, which is affecting that we are doing as developers. Imagine in some that is being sold for like 150 watts. We are not supposed to buy these houses more than maybe 80 million or 70 million. So it's really affecting us. The iron that we are producing, that we are buying, imagine around 2020, we are buying a ton of iron for around 110, 120. But now, it's over a million for just a ton of iron, which is drastically affecting us. So we need the collaboration to make sure that trillion to solve it. So that if all the developers are doing their work and every condition that need to be met are there, we will have this housing benefit reduced drastically.
One of the major issues in the housing sector is rural urban migration. Urban areas are being populated. They are congested. Advise government to encourage the emergence of new communities away from the congested centers.
There's something I noticed. I think the state governments, they can work hand in hand together. When we now have in other states, in Nigeria, there are people in Ogun State, with the state government.
To cover on the key industry. Just addressing the difference. One is allowing further generation. One to four and companies, we go up to 20 or 30 of those, and we pay a premium because it's generating work for them. So it's not only generating work for the local community, it's increasing the skill base of those people as well. So we try and look at things we know we can do with good quality. We can build 20 houses a week with one factory. So we know that we've got the sustainability of it. The products that we bring in, the very least amount of products that we can. Use very, very little concrete. The technology would be from Nigeria. The skill base, 97% of the workforce would be unskilled Nigerians that we train, as I covered before. So for me, there's a holistic overview when you're talking about housing, affordability. The housing can be affordable, and as I mentioned in the keynote speech, it needs the vision not only of people taking less, but we need to make a profit. Everybody in this room needs profit, not at the expense of other people. And just further as well, to give some keynote speech. They have a it's not as if they're going to be expected to be. They have a house there, a home that is increasing in value. So their risk is absolutely minimal. So it just needs a way of looking at things to address this. It can be everybody here and everybody here to look at and get this thing sorted quickly. Because next year, you'll have another 5.7 million population increase. And as in the house, a few years ago, that's developed in the whole field. Secondly, that means that people need to be able to wake up and say, what am I
to come down. Everything required for the public-private partnership lies within our hands. And all we need to do is agree as one people to say it's enough. And that with our level of innovation, we will decrease our reliance on imports and that we will scale up and that we will use more of things that are made in Nigeria. They don't work in the beginning. But with this mindset and this intent, with people in leadership in the public sector and people in leadership in the private sector, and with the blessing of our royal fathers, I know that the PPP model that works in America will make Lagos and Nigeria one of the greatest cities in the world, even before most people here die. So that's my view, that's my point. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let me come to you ahead of time. One of the major issues in Nigeria, in the other is about the regulation. Your principle is that 19 was a great in 1970. Now, but for you to have access to land, even if you have access to land, it's a big problem getting approvals, getting the governor's consent, and it's a sort of Nigeria. So what do you think that we need to do in Nigeria, both at the national for land ownership processes to be?
Thank you very much. You will trying to explain to you that law. And that law has not become one of our biggest problems in the real estate sector, in ownership of land. Community ownership of land is what guaranteed. Even villages that have existed for 1,000 years cannot guarantee their community in the next day. These are not far from the fact that we have a land use act of 1978. And that law, if not repealed and excavated from our constitution, we will still come back to the only system of government here now without a proper solution. And thankfully, we must commend the current president of the country, President Bola Tinubu, is a Democrat. And he knows how much he raised the housing development in Lagos State. We want to first employ him as far as one of the solutions to look into the act in view of the fact that government right of ownership, of determining ownership where certificate of occupancy must be looked at. Investors like Mr. Naiko Sadoluwa controversially have a defender of the homeless Nigeria, have been on the street fighting several human rights forces, all in the bid of demolition, all in the bid of when even if you have right of occupancy, government will still impose their right to overrun you without compensation. These remain investors' interest in housing policy. These does not even guarantee community synergy and partnership on PPP basis with the government. If government is to occupy or sell the community land, it is very important that the villagers, the community head, be called up. Having that proper agreement is properly signed on JV, whereby the community will then continuously, even if private investors are doing it, but if a private investor buy a land in this community now, they will take over and above the people of that price to government. But government will not come back based on the land user. We don't have infrastructure. 1 inch of infrastructure will not be added in terms of road, water, and electricity. Is that same investor that will have for or pay you from price? Had more body of money, having gotten all the who suffer by the citizen. At the end of the day, citizens cannot reach the measure of value or legal rent. Government do not have proper policy on rent reward. This
land use as you have rightly mentioned. And currently, challenging some of these excesses. Because government must check on their power in determining ownership. What is the clue is consent, license, not to determine the ownership. Because if government determines ownership, if you buy from a cafe seller to buy the property, the cafe gives you all right to document. That document remains valid in the presence of the government. We cannot continue to sustain on that rate until we have a law interpreted in every language. Let that law be a national law. If it seems the land use act is only for South Central land, you cannot go to the Southeast and do something like that, even in the North. They are global coordination. And I want to draw attention that there is high time we put humanity in addressing this issue. We have vast land in Badagry, in Epe. Let government come to PPP with investors like Mr. Said. Let them see reason on how best to add finance. The private investor cannot do it on its own. Most of the housing estate you have across might not be meeting that international standard because of the infrastructural deficit, cost of building materials. All these are where government needs to subsidize. And this subsidy must be effected with a legislative law. If it's not binding on government, it cannot be binding on the investor. We want a new law that will regulate the housing sector, bring the traditional institution as part of ownership right, and that will guarantee investment and even common household that are building, even if you build on a particular land, before you can regularize, before you can do everything in your house will not be wanted. And that is the area of my concern. Thank you.
Okay, what's that? Asking for an abrogation of the land use. You will recall that traditional rulers and homogeneous were using customary titles to land, and it was giving problems with regard to access. That's why Section 1 of that Act 1978 says ownership of land is vested in the government of the state. And these same governors also misbehave to get the consent. The right is very critical. You say that consent should be decentralized. Each man, director, commissioner, do you think they should decentralize it so that people can give consent, so that access to land is easy?
Very far. According to the land use act, the law only ensures trust, not ownership in the house.
Yes, trust.
Government has misconstrued that trust into private ownership. They took over community land on the premise of investment. At that time, if all this for public, it cannot be converted for investment purpose. At the end of the day, the investors will pay billions of naira. The investors will still be owning government. And government, what we need to do is to bring down regulatory licensing to the local government. The state do not have anything to regularize. It's only the local government that is able to know that this land belongs to this family. This land belongs to this family. It's a government who just come from an outside. Coming to a particular family, maybe the basement, maybe the land, without proper legislative guidance. And the abolition is a cost. Upon the abolition, it will be a proper land licensing authority act that will only need to pay license. Whatever you are buying, do in a community want to, even if government is land in our community, let them pay for that land. Let them regularize and pay interest. The ground rent they are collecting and land use charge must also be shared within the community. Because when everybody benefits, the homogeneous crisis that we are writing mentioned, that it can become a problem in customary ownership of land. It was just as a result of the whole nature of innovation, of crisis in the communities. And it's not as good as that is going to president said, no, but what we can do is to appeal to Mr. President because the view of the land, as far as we are talking, is not threatening on the power of the state to regularize it. It's only the National Assembly that can review this law to get the rights.
And this is a big subject in faculties of law. They will ask you, should the land use act be reviewed? And you are not in a traditional shift. So you have to define it. But I'm going to wrap up this section very quickly because the time is not spent. And I want to come back to this survey just briefly because we need to give it one opportunity. We're talking about price control, okay, as a way of managing inputs in the housing sector. Now, there's a price control board, as you pointed out. There's a price control act of 1970. But that price control board does not function. Which is why Carnival and I say here recently, trying to go to enforce the price control act of 1977. And then government has done so many other things. They have a refinancing mortgage facility. They have the same less than 50 million. You don't have to pay anything on it. A lot of measures. If you like, yes. The data cost is what they cannot do. They control price. If you don't want.
That's not the
Tell me how it will work.
That's not the advice. We need to start from somewhere. We still need a functioning policy. I think that's the only way. It might not be the only way, but that would be a start. Because if you have a policy that is not functioning, so what's the essence of the policy? And I believe no matter how bad inflation is, there should be a limit to our product prices. Because you can't just wake up morning because there's inflation. A product that you are selling or that is worth 10,000 naira, because there's inflation out there, you not put a price tag on it for 100,000 naira. That's not anywhere. But with the policy that is functioning, you can't do that because you know you're going to get into trouble. Why do that? Then secondly, we as people and we embrace and support our own production product as well. Because of that, I think the inflation problem to be reduced and the policy can be made maybe work.
Okay, thank you. Well, before we go the discussion open, we need to wrap up very quickly now. I'd like to come to you, Mr. Lan, and also I'd also like Mr. Richard. Question. You have you will see them give through and do it to it greatly. Now, there are many risks in that. I've heard people saying that, oh, investors are not discouraged by risks as long as the money is to be made. We have security issues. We have land ownership issues, access to land issues. We have access to finance issues. Do this risk matter or the foreign investor interested in this sector family around it?
Right. I think the main thing is the UK has issues just like Nigeria. Increasing population, lack of housing. I think what we've got to understand as well, if you look at the UK developer can simply pay 15 to 20% to get something developed, which isn't 2% the banks are charging over here. So ordinarily, if you're looking at investors coming in and attracting investors, you know, some investors will want to go for long term, so the housing needs to be sustainable, it needs to be built, as Roger is alluding to, it needs to be built here, not just for this generation, but for the next generation. you look at many properties in the UK, 200-year-old Victorian houses still standing for billions of pounds. So I look at the building costs are the same in the UK, we have the Ukraine war, that puts building costs up. But it's increasingly hard to find deals for our property. But I think a lot of developments now are leading into building more affordable housing. For a developer, it's not about it's about making a profit, but developers can still build affordable housing and still make a profit. And one of the things I think that might be successful here is if we have developers that are building developments but already had a buyer, i.e. the state, the council, the buyer that first once it's finished, and then rents it out to the population on a right to buy scheme, where you can live in it and rent it for 5-10 years. But if they will put their head for 10 years, they have the option to buy it at a discounted rate. So it's ideas that we can bring to the UK. I know some people, like using Sam here, we can go and put together themselves, a comparison of how we've been successful in the UK, and we take some of those ideas here. With regards to the land, residual land value is an important thing. If build costs in mind, you need to make sure you're buying the land at a good price, which is important. And obviously looking when you're looking at planning consent and getting planning for these villages and cities, but the planning is a lot more straightforward. It is a little bit more simpler. And it takes into account the infrastructure as well, because obviously it's not worth building these infrastructures if there's not good roads, for example. So I'm probably going to look at it, but does that answer the question?
It's a very tricky subject, to be perfectly honest. Personally, I spent a few months understanding the socio-economic, cultural, and political bias of any country that we want to work closely with. Personally, I find it far easier to work with governments. We've had issues in the past with working in partnership with people. Documentation looks a bit standard, and then unfortunately 6 months into the bill, we suddenly find that 3 other landowners also. So there's a huge risk for an investor, a huge risk. So there's a lot of huge skepticism in the UK and in Europe for investing into Africa, unfortunately. I mean, overall, I've had some bad experiences, but the bad experiences have been overshadowed by the good experiences. So for me personally, when I'm dealing with investing centres in the UK, I generally try and look with the government of the country that we work with. So that's the only thing that I would say. There's a degree of skepticism about investing because of corruption and the fact that people double selling plots. When you're trying to get investors to invest in schemes, the figures stack up, but after 6 months and then somebody else comes to retain that land, there's a massive problem. So I hope that answers that question.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Aruja. But on this one, I would like to make the microphone available to the audience. We may have 1 or 2 persons who would like to raise any question or make comments. Yes, Chief Oh, well, let's speak first. Then we'll come to you. Please, take the microphone. Okay, take this.
Says, and the distinguished one.
So this is our trying to run. One is the aspect of pricing of legal experience, which are established there, legal size, and taking the price into the board that can actually address the issue of inflation and taxation and legal materials. The second aspect is the law governing land use, which basically we practiced two authorities already. One, community leaders, traditional institution, boarding to the authority to issue land, which has some clear legs and abnormalities. The second one is the authority by the government at the local, state, and federal level. And all those ones are proof that we have some shortcomings. So how do we address these shortcomings? My suggestion that let us divide this authority into levels: domestic level and industrial level, where we have a project that is purely domestic in terms of the use of land. Let it go to the community leaders to address it. And when we have industrialized development plan to develop our land or to develop any project, I think that I can go to the level of the government, both state and federal, coming to get authorization. So by this arrangement, we can see check and balances. The domestic could be checked by the government, and also the government could be checked by the domestic. Depends on which of the project we have at hand. So I believe if this is put forward and deliberated upon very, very explicitly, we will arrive at certain level or stage of managing the authority vested in the powers to issue land out for use. If it's domestic, let it go to the community leaders, institution. If it is above that level, for industrialization and development of the area, like big companies coming up, factories, whatever, let that one be handled by the government, both state government and federal government. And thank you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Your Highness. Well, Chief Arisha Kola, if you may help me take the microphone to him. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, our royal father, the Oniba of Ibaland. Good afternoon, our emirs and the public, general public. Please, this question is for Reda. I don't know whether the Reda chairman is listening to me. How we can improve on the caste housing development in Nigeria. Is there any plan for it? And that one will serve a long way to enhance housing development. So please, what is your plan? Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Are Dr. Hassan, would you like to respond to the suggestion made by Zines?
Well, very importantly, just as the way I've rightly advocated, that land ownership should be preserved with the powers and management of our traditional institution. Every land in the whole world is ancestral. It only becomes regulatory when we begin to mold laws. The painful thing is that Nigeria is yet to have a truly people's autonomous law. Only lawyers, it's only lawyers in the house that will understand my language. When the law did not emanate from all of us, we begin to have this type of issues. And the solution is that the domestic land regulation should be predicated within the local government. And that is one of the key, the critical areas that we need to support the need for the local government autonomy. Local government autonomy should not just be for division of the jack, but it is also need to deal with issues of land. Land consenting authority must be in collaboration with the traditional institution. Even when land are to be released, the governor must sought the consent of the traditional institution. That power is critical, but it's the other way around, that the traditional institution recently in Ogun State, the governor of Ogun State just signed a law, and I was a little bit moved. Now, why would the governor put as part of the punitive measure to punish a traditional king, even if there is a mining site within his domain? The only thing the governor needs to do is to have a community development partnership. Because of this law, the same thing that goes to that we deal in Lagos, we always take land as the only mineral resources we have in Lagos. But that is not the issue. The way governor is dealing on land is the same way governor is dealing on oil and gas. We need a regulatory law that will be domesticated. And that is why I'm appealing that we now have an opportunity for a restructuring of this constitution called 1999 Constitution. As far as that constitution still remains Decree 24 of Abdul Salami, I'm not always proud as the lawyer to sign the constitution because I'm more or less caged under a military toga. We cannot be pretentious about our problems. And the earlier we have been through the National Council of National Affairs to please put up a legislative demand, sit with the president to please that we want to be regulating land because the governor do not know how to resolve land issues. They are only interested in collecting money. And once they collect, the governor can issue 3, 4 C of O on the same land because they don't have identification processing. For bringing up this, and I will still want to put it through you. You are more at the upper launch to help us through the cabbage on your event, through the through the Masino, we can do this together and we'll be on the chat. The people, I'm the Secretary General of Nigeria ethnic nationalities in the whole of the country, over 407 ethnic nationalities. We've been dealing with several issues in this country. And one of my fundamental issues, it might interest you to know, by coming to this stage today was as a result of confrontational issues we had on land. The owner of the estate, maybe Mr. Said, is a very good friend now. But we came at a crossroad when it becomes how to determine ownership. I'm not told it. Now the governor collected over 90% of land, released 10% for families to go and share. Over 150 families will now enumerate their ancestral land worth over 20,000 hectares. They give them not less than 350 acres to now share. How do you think we can get justice on this? We'll kill ourselves. The family will, two families will sell out for one person. We'll continue on this journey. Let us collectively rise together in solving this by talking to Mr. Governor, in resolving this issue by releasing the land to the community. Even if investors must come, let the KBACs and the community collect 50% of that money. Let them also gain benefit. And when the land use charge is paid yearly, reversionary interest of 50% must also come to the community. That will reduce unemployment. It will reduce the Omonile crisis. That Owo Foundation, Owo ceiling. Even if you are painting your house, they will still come. So this will be solved until when we abrogate that law that is called land use charge. And we have community land licensing authority.
I see you are very passionate about this land matter. The one has been resolved. I think the federal government has also helped you to resolve that other one, the Lagos Calabar Expressway. Because we came on television to fight for that too. Anyway, quickly let me come to you, Doctor, for you to respond to Chief Wole Adesekola. Yes. That's Dr. Kolawole.
Okay, what he had was on, is it the tax or what?
That's a question about tax and housing.
For government, I believe that we still need to work in hands with the government, because the government cannot just come and pull up. With the real estate developers, we have to sit together with the government to solve the issue at hand now. Imagine for our estate, we are paying what they call IDH or what? ID's infrastructure development charge, IDC. We pay this money on all the units that you are building on your estate. At the end of the day, we are not seeing this infrastructure and we pay this money. So it's really, it's affecting us greatly, which every one of us, we should collaborate and make sure, because if there is no collaboration, like what I said there, we can't solve all these issues. We can't just say we want to fight the government. We have to sit together and look at it. Look at where this is failing us. If you charge us for this, let's see the infrastructure that you are providing. On my site, the first site built by my company, we are the one that did all the roads that leads to that estate. We did the road. So at the end of the day, we have to put this money that we used to build those infrastructure, the road and the drainages, we have to put it on the houses that we are building. So people are saying affordable houses. We can't have affordable houses if infrastructure, the money we are paying for tax, let's see those money being put to use by the government, and all this will be solved.
Dr. Kala, don't start the tax matter here. I'm fighting over tax in Kenya. So please mute your mic. Well, as we begin to wrap up now, very quickly, Mr. Onegbajo, we would like to say one or two words about some of the other issues, and then we close the panel.
Thank you, Dr. Abati. I think this panel has been a phenomenal one, and I really appreciate the questions asked. But you see, everything in life has a framework or a strategy. And when I was speaking, I used two keywords. The first one was intent. The second was self-will. Everything that every single panelist has spoken about, without the willingness and the intention of people to execute, nothing will happen. Hence, we're referring to a pricing control board that has no effect because the intent is low. We're speaking about a developer that has to build the roads into an estate because the government isn't building it. The intent is low, and we can keep on going on and on and on. But the key that we need to remember as we're developing is that we as Nigerians, not just the government, but we as Nigerians need to also make a demand on government to say, well, we have paid these taxes, or we have voted for you, or this was your promise when you came into power. Now execute it and put aside other partitions. We need to think about being intentional, being willful, and learning. Remember how America became great, how India became great, how an Indian is the Prime Minister of the UK, how an Asian is the Mayor of London. These things are done by intent and by people coming together. So as long as there is division in the populace, we cannot experience exponential growth. So my words again to all, let's have the intent, let's have the self-will to come together, and we will build Lagos and Nigeria to world class. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Shamsuddin Onibajo. Thank you, Dr. Kolawole from Redan. Thank you, Mrs. Adeyemi, and thank you, Mr. Lance. Thank you very much, Richard, and thank you, Are Oludoton Hassan. I think with that, we've come to the end of this panel session. I want to thank you very much indeed. Please, let's give our panelists a round of applause. Okay, picture. Well, maybe you should keep the applause going. Let's keep the applause going as we take a group picture.
Thank you. Please, let's give them another round of applause, please. Thank you to our distinguished panelists for their valuable insights, and of course, our moderator, Dr. Ruben Abati, for steering the enlightening discussion. The challenges of housing in Nigeria are significant, but with the collective efforts and innovative strategies discussed today, I believe that we are moving closer to bringing the housing effect to a better solution. Please join us in the next session, where we will continue to explore sustainable solutions for housing. Before we proceed, let me also acknowledge my co-anchor who have graciously guided us through this session. A big thank you to Nancy Simen, and of course, Bengade Yinka, for their support and commitment to this important cause. With that, I believe that we've concluded the first session. We invite you to take a short break and visit our exhibition stands, showcasing innovative housing solutions. The next session will commence shortly in 5 minutes. So I applaud our guests to please keep to time. But before I exit the podium, let me quickly acknowledge the presence of all the dignitaries again, experts herein, for your time. Again, in our midst is our Royal Majesty, Oba Olufolare Olukayode Ogunsowo, the Alara of Ilara Kingdom, whose leadership and commitment to community development are great.